But let's get to the other news of the day now. Afghan President Hamid Karzai says if NATO airstrikes on civilians don't stop, NATO will be treated as an occupying force and face unilateral action by his government. At least 9 civilians were killed by NATO airstrikes on Sunday. Karzai's warning came one day after Stephen Harper declared that Afghanistan is no longer a threat to the world, a statement that surprised some observers. Our senior Washington correspondent, Neil MacDonald, looks at that.
Presiding over the exit of Canadian troops from combat in Afghanistan, Prime Minister Harper yesterday said this:
Afghanistan is no longer a threat to the world.
The country may indeed still be a miserable and dangerous place for its citizens, said Harper.
But this country does not represent a geostrategic risk to the world. It is no longer a source of global terrorism.
Quite a declaration. The question is, might it not be a little too early for such confidence? The Americans are anxious to leave too, but they keep warning there remains much to do. The White House says the goals remain:
disrupt, dismantle, and ultimately defeat al-Qaeda, and to ensure that Afghanistan would not again become a haven for terrorists, and to take the steps necessary to make that come true.
There does seem to be some consensus that Afghanistan is no longer much of an al-Qaeda base.
This was the major al-Qaeda sanctuary a dozen years ago.
And what is it now?
Well, now it is not. Now it is not a major sanctuary.
But, says O'Hanlon, the country is still unstable and a potential threat, especially the sector Canada is leaving.
From a strategic point of view, the fact that Canada is leaving Kandahar in the summer of July 2011 cannot be easily defended.
This Afghan MP agrees. Al-Qaeda and company, she says, are just across the porous border waiting.
Their main base is in Pakistan. But if the world leave Afghanistan thinking that it's not a threat anymore, it can once again be used as a center for their training, for their camps, for their military operation, and it can once again be used as a threat for the world.
An official in Stephen Harper's office told CBC News today the Prime Minister accepts that al-Qaeda and its fellow travelers may simply have moved elsewhere. What Harper was saying, says his office, is that when Canadian soldiers arrived, al-Qaeda was a force in Afghanistan. And now, it's not. Neil MacDonald, CBC News, Washington.
The body of Canadian soldier Bombardier Carl Manning arrived back in Canada from Afghanistan today. Manning was found dead last Friday at a military outpost. The military says he was not killed in combat and that there was no accident or foul play. Manning was based at CFB Valcartier. He was near the end of his 6-month tour, and his family says he had been thinking about getting married.